Stayed in bed all morning just to pass the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for joining us this evening. This is Michaela, your host of MichaelaTV.com and the Michaela Radio Show. I have the pleasure, the real distinct pleasure of being invited to John Waters Interviews, a new book edited by James EGAN, and we are here at the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. I have to say that this is one of the thrills of a lifetime to be able to meet and chat with John Waters and to get a glimpse into the interviews and into his life as he's done over the last 37 years. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am here with the very esteemed, and I have the pleasure of a lifetime to be here with Mr. John Waters. How are you tonight?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. So this book, it's a retrospective on many different interviews and many different people that you have spoken to over many years. Why this type of book and why now?
It's a great series of books that's published but with different film directors. So I was proud to ask to be in it because I have a couple of the other books in the series. And James EGAN, my old friend, is the one that came to me with the idea of doing it. And I said, go ahead, and he went through every possible interview and came out with the ones that I think would be the best. And I think he took a very, very good selection of different parts of my life.
That's amazing. He was also telling us that when you were casting for Hairspray, that you had originally made the choice to cast someone else as Tracy Turnblad, and you eventually chose to cast Ricky Lake. How did that work?
Well, the only thing that was different, Divine was going to play the mother and the daughter. Yeah. So no, Ricky was the one who got the part right away, but it was going to be Divine playing both parts, like the Parent Trap. But I'm glad we picked Ricky, and I'm voting for her every night on Dancing with the Stars.
One of my favorite movies of yours is the Cecil B. Demented movie. I love those dark movies. Talk to us about that kind of genre of movie.
It was a dark comedy, black comedy certainly, but we had in that movie, besides Stephen Dorff and Melanie Griffith, we had Maggie Gyllenhaal and Adrian Grenier and Michael Shannon before they were really well known. So I'm very proud of them, and they're great in the movie too.
It's amazing to meet you. Thank you so much. And we are signing out for now with the very amazing,
here at the Museum of Modern Art, John Waters.
I love it. Thank you very much. Good night. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I have the pleasure of being here with James EGAN. He is sitting at this event tonight, and we're very happy to see you.
Great. Buenas noches a toda la gente.
Right. Not bad. So talk to us about your relationship with John, your involvement in this particular project, and how long have you guys known each other?
John y yo están muy buenos amigos desde yo fue since I was 17 years of age. I was 23 years of age. We met at a really groovy club in Baltimore, and it was like going into like a Buñuel film. It was really wild and crazy, like Pasolini. One person was playing pool naked, and Mary Vivian Pierce, who is one of his stars, was there in a see-through dress with black negligee underneath. So I thought, this is the kind of crowd I might want to hang out with, and I'm sure everybody at home too would be there too. So I got to, I had just finished doing a lot of political work in Washington. I'd hoped to change the world through politics. I had been in Mexico studying Spanish, and I was hoping to have impact, through education. And then when I came back, I got a little bit disappointed in the politics of Washington. And then I saw John's work, and I realized there's another way to have impact, and that's through media, through film. And my first film in Mexico was called Gringo Majado, con Rafael Inclán, Isabella Vega, and con the director is Ricardo Franco, and it was a film about a gringo que quiere trabajar en Mexico, pero no tiene papeles. No puede trabajar en Mexico. So es un broma nada más. But it was an important film because it made fun of a gringo in Mexico having to have paperwork to get a job. Of course, he falls in love with a Mexicana, and he doesn't want to leave, and so it's a great story. And so then I saw that we can make a statement through film that can impact how we treat each other and how we recognize each other and see the value of diversity.
Have you been involved in any of John Waters' films, and what was that experience like?
I was 23 at the time, working for my father, and I was very unhappy in Baltimore. And I was working in the insurance business. And when John saw me wearing a suit and tie at the party, he wanted to meet me immediately. I for sure thought they were going to throw me out. And he turns out that he needed insurance because they couldn't make the film without liability insurance. So without my father knowing it, I sent off an application to Lloyd's of London and put down children's fantasy film. Of course, it's not not even close, right? And my father was so upset because he thought, oh my God, we're going to get sued, we're going to lose our business, you know. I said, what do you want? I'm doing my job. And so then he said, you have to go to the set every day and make sure that nothing horrible happens, we don't get sued. And that's how I fell in love with the film business. And I worked on Female Trouble, and then I worked on Desperate Living, and then John wrote my application to film school, and I became, and I got into film school thanks to John, because the dean of UCLA was a big fan of John Waters, and we're still friends to this day. So very exciting, thanks to him, my life. First of all, I thought I knew everything about John Waters, and that's a big mistake because I had to be completely open to all kinds of new things that I didn't know about John. Since I learned in Hairspray that he was not going to have Ricky Lake as the star, he had actually hoped he was going to have Divine play the daughter. And the distributor suggested that they get Ricky Lake, and get a young girl play the role, and then John cast Ricky Lake, and history, really amazing. In fact, Ricky is, of course, as you all know, on Dancing with the Stars, and John was just there with her, rooting her on, and we all hope Ricky wins.
I think she's going to.
I hope she wins. She's definitely got the toes to goes, so it's exciting. John, I can't thank you enough for your support. You're just the dearest friend anyone could have, and my life that I have now is thanks to your wonderful inspiration. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I have the pleasure of being here with a very, very wonderful person, an amazing woman, and a force to be reckoned with here in New York City, Miss Lorene Arbus. Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to be here, and we had a chance to chat a little bit before. You are a force. You are amazing. Amazing.
Why is it important for you to come here and support John Waters in this book, and what message would you like to give him tonight?
Well, I think that for me, the incredible thing that overrides all of the accomplishments and all of the talents, and he has so much talent in so many areas, is the fact that he has dared to do what has been unacceptable, to go where what is forbidden, whether you like or don't like the specific areas he's chosen of that are shocking to some. The fact that he has not been encumbered by and limited by what is okay or not okay. And I'm a disability rights activist. And do you know that when my parents were thinking about having children, no child with disability, no adult with disability was seen on television, seen anywhere in America. And my parents basically brought disability and the visibility of disability into the American home. My mother invented the idea of the telethon. So to be able to take the subjects that are taboo and to make it okay for anybody to say anything, as long as nobody gets, my bottom line is, as long as no one gets hurt. Absolutely. But we need to be open. We need to be able to be open, period.
I'm talking to the right person tonight, and it was an absolute joy and pleasure to be here with you.
Keep it coming. I'm dying to know if you think that there's any territory that is still forbidden that you will explore and invite us into. I'd love to go there with you.
Well, I am signing out for now with the spectacular Lorene Arbus. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you so much.
My name is Ron Magliosi. I'm an associate curator of the Department of Film. That was Boom with Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton, and Bill Coward. Written by Tennessee Williams, believe it or not, and directed by Joseph Losey. If you think that was an odd choice to open this event, you don't know Mr. Waters as well as you should, but we'll remedy that. By way of introduction, I'd like to run through a few facts. You probably know them already. John Waters is an overachiever. He works in film, theater, television, art galleries, universities, and prisons. He's directed at least 17 films. He's acted on screen and off in over 30 films, 20 plus television programs, appeared in nearly 30 documentaries, and is the subject of at least one, Divine Trash. He's done stand-up, what he calls lectures, most famously in his This Filthy World show. He's written for the stage and had a major Broadway success with the musical adaptation of Hairspray. He has an ongoing career as a photographer and an artist. He has at least 9 books to his credit, including 3 memoirs and 3 collections of his photographs. He's curated at the Warhol Museum in Pittsburgh and been curated by the New Museum here in New York. He's compiled several anthologies of music, including the John Waters Christmas album. It's the time of the year to get that if you don't have it. And A Date with John Waters. He's a serious art collector in the Tulu documentary tradition of film folk like Edward G. Robinson and Vincent Price and a significant number of others. And finally, a fact about 1972. In 1972, Waters created Pink Flamingos. Ralph Bakshi produced his X-rated adaptation of Fritz the Cat. And the legendary gay pornographer Fred Halstead produced Sex, Garage, and LA Plays Itself. All of these films were screened at the museum around that time. Each created a significant controversy, and best of all 4 of them were acquired by the museum for its permanent film collection. So tonight we celebrate the publication of the John Waters interviews, which I'm sure you saw in the lobby, edited by our guest, James EGAN, the brains behind tonight's program. Material for this book dates from '65 to 2011, and James and John have a history going back at least that far, nearly that long. So please welcome James EGAN.
And magazines that contributed to this book. It's been a 2.5-year journey when I got the call to do this, which is part of a series called Conversations with Filmmakers, and there's only 33 directors that have been chosen for this series by the Mississippi Press. It's important to academic scholarly work because it's an opportunity to bring together we had over 375 articles that we looked at and reviewed as possible articles that were pivotal to John's career, and maybe even articles that you may never have access to. That was another part of the choice. And I worked closely with John. John was amazing in helping me make many of the choices, and I really appreciate the book would not have been possible with John. So without any further introduction, I think we're going to start the Q&A with Ron. Thank you.
Without consulting each other, I tried to combine them, so
fantastic.
That's how it works.
It's great to have a script. I really appreciate it. John is, very dedicated to scripts. One of the actors allowed to improvise, right?
Well, if we do any of that, we do that in rehearsal,
I see. Okay. Well, he
was right when he said rehearsal works for fags. Remember he was reading? We don't rehearse.
So this article is an article that you see up there is an article that we actually found in the Knock-Pratt Library. There's a beautiful, incredible room called the Maryland Room where the history of Maryland for over 400 years, I think it is archived. And there in the middle of this, with John Carrollton and all these Lord Baltimore, we have John Waters, which is great because, as you know, it was a Catholic colony, and it's interesting that John has had quite an interest in Catholicism in his films. What I love about this film, this little piece, is that it was stapled to the card catalog, and the curator hadn't even seen it. And I would have never seen it if it hadn't been stapled there. The actual article itself was stapled
in the Maryland Room, right? We found, when I did Crybaby, we found all the articles in there about drapes and like gang talk and everything in Baltimore. It's the most amazing room. It's all hand-clipped out articles by the little ladies that were volunteers for the library, way before microfilm or anything. It's amazing.